Hey guys, can you hear me? Um, Hold on, I'm still kind of setting things up, but yeah. So, okay. I think I'm just gonna tell people on my Instagram that I'll be streaming, so yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna send it to people. Okay, so I'm going to answer a few questions before we start. I see some people have a few questions. So, I mean, is this going to be saved on the channel? Yes, but I'll take it down from public eye a few days after. But I'm going to save it as a video and probably put on my Patreon or on my Gumroad. Not sure yet, but I'm basically compiling all my casual lessons on the go. Okay, so I'm going to start getting ready. I'm just gonna close the door a bit because my cat is playing with something. Okay, I think I'm going to switch now. All right, you guys can see this, right? My TV paint layout. Okay, so I think I have, yes. Okay, so I'm going to just talk about, and I'm going to hit start recording so now I can save this as a video for later. But before I do that, let me just get that all set up nice and ready. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I can't really change the recording now that it's streaming right now. Okay. All right, I'm going to start recording. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, guys. All right. So I'm going to try and make this as casual as possible. You know, nothing too crazy. But if you guys saw my tweet, I'm going to try and, animate a very casual dance on the get go. So again, I'm treating these kind of lessons pretty casual, nothing too serious, and more with the flow as I answer questions on the way. So, what am I doing for today? Again, we're gonna be doing. Oops. We're gonna be doing a basic dance animation. All right. So I'm going to be doing something that's not super complex, kind of easy. So I would reference, and I'm gonna load up his Twitter account because I think he's great at this. Is KK Flip Notes. This guy. So I think the reason why I want to use Keke as an example is because it's bouncy, it's simple, and I think that's all we need to just try and figure out. All right. Okay. So what will we be covering today? So I'm going to be covering a run through of dance animation that I've done in the past. And then I'm going to talk about how do we find the tempo and how do we translate that into animation. And then deciding how to utilize post to post or straight ahead, but I'm going to be smart when I do this. I'm not just going to okay, I'm going to animate and dance and presto, here it is, done. I'm going to actually talk about the process of how I think about the dance and making a placeholder so it makes my life easier um, when I start animating the dance. Okay, so I'm going to show you some examples that I've done in the past, and they're nothing too great. All right, so you probably saw my Twitter account where I shared this type of stuff. And the thing about these dance loops, I mean, I cringe at these now because these are so old and my drawing sensibilities have changed since then, is that they're actually pretty simple when you actually break it down. Because let's say I strip away. let's say I strip away all the cleanup and maybe find the very rough stage of this animation. So this is what the rough stage of that dance loop looks like. That's basically what I started with and worked with. Just something like this. And how I'm thinking about it is that I'm thinking of up and down poses. So if I actually flip through it, that's an up pose, down pose, up pose, down pose, up pose, down pose. And if you look at my timeline here, you can see that the timing is not just like all the way even. It's more like as it comes down, it's much slower, but when she comes back up, it's faster. So it creates like a very bouncing ball sort of movement. So if I just played it, there you can actually kind of feel the beat. Whereas if it was more even, it'd feel a bit floaty. And then after I did something like this, right, then I would do a sort of tie down pass just to make the drawings a bit clearer to me. It's still the same amount of poses. It's still the same up and down keys. It's just that I tried to make the drawings a bit more closer to model. And then from here, I would actually, in between those drawings, and I tend to keep my in-betweens for tie-downs relatively rough and loose because I know that when I clean it up, that's when I start really caring about the line quality. I mean, I started out with something like this and then started making more in-betweens for that until I came to... And I kept in-betweening it some more until, like... The drawings became more fleshed out, right? So it would, I think this is what the final line art looked like. So, okay. So it's relatively, I mean, the way I broke it down, I make it sound simple. And I think when we're doing this dance animation for tonight, I'm going to try and simplify it. So, like, of course, dance animations, this is like one of my first ones. I really did not like this because I didn't really know where it was going, so I scrapped that. Something like this, so this little guy dancing, is actually a bit more complicated because the thing is that I actually heavily referenced a shuffle live action footage, but there's a lot of steps, a lot of up and downs. Actually, I did a lot of this straight ahead, I think, from what I remember. It's been a while. But we're not going to be doing something like this. We're going to be doing something that's closer to this, all right? Okay, and the character that we're going to use is actually based off my cat, Buster. So this is the character design that we'll be using. Okay, so we're going to start animating our character. And I'm going to start with a plane. Just something flat. And we're just going to animate a character jumping up and down. But you know what? If you really wanted to be extra about it, and let's say you wanted to find the beats per minute or beats per second and then convert that into frames, you can do that, but I tend to feel things out. But if you wanted to do it, well, there are online resources for that, right? So there's something like this, I think, where you're listening to a song and you just hit, like, you keep clicking it at a consistent rate that you want until you get a certain amount of beats. The thing is that I'm actually using Madonna's Like a Prayer as a reference, so it's actually, from what I looked up, and if you look up online, you can find your favorite song, search up how many BPM or beats per second is there, and then it'll just say it to you. But there are other sources like this one, VJam, where you can actually convert those beats per minute into sort of frames for animation. So let's say if I put, I think Like a Prayer was 112 beats, and it would be about 13 or 12, so almost like half a second. So the thing is that with animation and like beats per minute, you're not going to get an exact frame number. It's a rough estimate. If I had like a metronome and just laid it out on my timing chart, that would make things a bit easier, right? Okay, now we can start animating because I'm just gonna say, okay, every 13 frames there's going to be a beat. Okay, so let's start. And the character I'm using again is based off the cat, and I'm just gonna switch to let me see. Switch. Cut. Okay, there we go. All right, now let's try and animate a standard pose. And I'm not really thinking about dancing poses yet. I'm just going to animate our character standing. And the character I'm using, of course, is based on my cat. Let me see if I can get her on a separate window so I can actually start drawing her. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a very standard standing pose. And sorry if you hear that rumbling. That's actually her right now playing with stuff. But you know what? I think it just adds. Okay. So sometimes I like to when I do a layout of my character, I tend to do a very quick shorthand version just to sort of get my proportions down immediately. And the thing about this character design is that she's very even, I think. Meaning her legs and her torsos are like pretty much the same size. She's kind of like a Nintendo Mii character. All right, so I'm just gonna. I think this is what she sort of, kind of looks like. And then she has like a little. I don't know what this is called, the snout or whatever. But just something very, very basic. Nothing. I'm not thinking about like clever acting. We're not even gonna talk about like clever acting. We're just gonna have fun with this. Okay. And then this is what we're starting with. All right. And I'm gonna start with this. So this will be my like basically this is my layout drawing, or the drawing that I'm going to heavily reference. Okay, I'm going to answer some quick questions. So Zenderman asks, how do you go about animating a ballroom dance with two people? Well, it's kind of like what I'm doing right now, where I'll make a single sort of like a few drawings of like where I want my two dancers to be, and then I'm going to either make keys out of it or straight ahead from there. But I'd like to make a master layout where it's, because like especially when it comes to like two people and they're holding each other and stuff like that, if you want to make it more organic, I would straight ahead it, but then I would also key out all the poses I want, and then straight ahead between those drawings with longer exposures, right? Okay, so from here this is actually when we're going to start animating, so I'm just going to put this as 1. And I think by the time this character hits frame 13, she's going to be back to this pose, all right? So 1 is also 13. I'm just going to put that down. And then, okay, so the thing is that I want the character to go down much slower than the character going up. So I think around frame 9 will be good for me. And I'm going to turn on the onion skin. And I'm just going to have the character sort of like be on. So this is the up pose, okay? This is our up pose. And then this will be our down pose. So this character is really just bobbing up and down. Nothing like, not doing any crazy moves. And I'm thinking the hand goes just a bit upwards, just to sell that like, wait. This is frame 9, by the way. Notice how I'm flipping back and forth just so that I can feel the movement of these drawings. Okay, so if I'm gonna, so let's play it. Let's loop it. I mean, we kind of have some form of representation of a character going up and down. All right, so basically what we have is a representation of a dance. In storyboarding, this would be enough. Okay, but now I want to make breakdowns, all right? I want to make breakdowns where I describe how this character gets to this pose and how this character returns back to this pose. Okay, so from here to here, I'm going to do what's called a slow out or an ease in. So that means that it's going to gain speed. So I'm going to do like a little timing chart thing, right? So from 1 to 9, I think frame 7 is going to be around here. I'm animating in 2, so and meaning that each drawing holds for 2 frames. So my in between or my breakdown, is going to be on frame 7. And then in between 1 and 7, 5 is going to be the main one, and then 3. So I need to do 7 before I do 5, and I need to do 5 before I do 3. But I'm going to only do the main poses first, right? And then from 9 to, let's say, 13, or back to 1. So I'm just going to put 13 or 1. My breakdown is going to be at 11. And I might change these depending, you know? Okay, so let's feel it out. Okay. So now I'm just going to make my breakdowns. And the breakdown is not necessarily it doesn't have to be like a direct in between. Think of it as more like the connective tissue or the connective key. So this one, you know, it could be that like, you know, let's just make it a direct in between, just for making it easier. So I'm doing frame 7 right now for those who are curious. And then I'm just gonna quickly, again, these drawings are not meant to be super, super tight. They're just a-okay. And I'm just going to save this quickly. All right, sorry, my cat is playing in the background. If you can hear that, my bad. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Okay, so, and then I did 7. I could do 5 and 3, but right now I just want to focus on 11. So I'm just going to do frame 11 right now. And this is where the cat comes back up. Okay, so for this one, because the cat is coming back up, I want to sort of make it a bit more unique than my previous drawing. Like, I want to actually make maybe the character face down as it comes back up. So it's now sort of like delays a bit. This one drags too. So notice how I'm favoring the onion skin on blues. And then I think what I'm going to have is the arms actually whip downwards. And you'll see why I'm doing this for my breakdown. Just to give it a bit more weight. And to differentiate between my last drawing. The whiskers also like poke down because of gravity. Maybe the ears sort of tilt down. So this is frame 11. Okay, let's play that. Okay, it's kind of we kind of get an idea. So I'm gonna go, you know, like a prayer. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so maybe it's kind of in beat. You can even add more in betweens if you want. So I'm just gonna do that just for the sake of it. So this is gonna be 5. And I'm going to quickly just in between those very roughly. And I'm going to answer a few questions once I get these in-betweens done. Oh, crap. She's on the table now. You might hear her, so just be warned. Yes, Buster, I'm animating you right now. So the story about Buster, the cat that I have right now, I actually got her from Dana Terrace. She needed someone to take care of Buster, and I was like kind of excited because I was thinking about getting a pet myself, and I mean, you know, I just want to help out, but so far she's been great, and I'm going to. Hey, you. Okay. And then I'm going to do one more in between for frame 3. Okay. Okay, so after I do this drawing, I'm going to answer a few questions. Actually, maybe I can answer a few questions right now. So, someone asked, yeah, the stream will be archived, but for a few days. Yeah, there's so many. There are questions that I'll try and answer. Yeah, I was actually born in the Philippines, but I grew up partially in Indonesia. I traveled a lot because of like circumstances with my parents. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So how to figure out how to draw the side view of the character? I mean, I think that's really a draftsmanship question, not really necessarily an animation question. Like, I think, you know, if you wanted to get better at drawing side profiles of character or of people, you have to go out and actually study what a side profile of a person looks like. Maybe break down your character into really simple primitives like I'm doing. Like, I'm not really trying to figure out, okay, this is the fur, these are the shape of the eyes. I broke it down into very simple shapes. Okay, what do I think about Krita? I've only used it once to draw, but I haven't really tried animating it. Hey, Zangati. Yeah, I saw your animation. It was great. Will I plan on having cleanup artists in the future? Maybe. Okay, so okay, Zenderman. How much easier or faster does the animation process get? That's a tricky one, just because I honestly, I mean, it depends on what you're animating. Like, if you just animate your comfort zone, you're probably going to get faster and easier at it. But if you start animating really complicated things or things outside your comfort zone, then it's going to be a bit harder. Okay, so I think I like how this animation looks. Honestly, you know what? Let's retime this just a bit, because I feel like there's very little time here. So, you know what? I'm gonna remove 5. So let's see how that feels. Yeah. So what I did was I replaced. I'm gonna replace 3 with my drawing 5, and now this becomes the new. This is my breakdown, and then that's my key. So again, I'm relabeling my timing chart. There we go. And then I'm just going to quickly do a partial, meaning that, and notice how I'm following the arcs here for the bald hands. This is frame 11 now, so I just changed. Don't remind me again. Okay. Notice, and I'm gonna just favor the red drawing a bit. So what I'm trying to do right now is between 9 and 13. 11 is somewhere closer to 13, like in the chart right here, if you're looking here. So like usually I put drawing 11 here, but I'm trying to favor 13 just a bit because I wanted to slow down, but I don't have a lot of frames to show that. So now we have, and I'm gonna play that. All right. Now what we have is like a very simple character bobbing up and down. You know, we can put it to Like a Prayer, Madonna, because that's the song that I have in mind. But now this is not going to be the final animation. What I'm going to do is use this as my placeholder, as my reference. So, you know, I'm going to set it to loop throughout the whole animation, but on top of it, so I'm going to turn down the opacity of this. And then from here, this is when I'm going to start animating actual poses that I want. All right, so let's see some questions. Any tips on making a fast movement look smooth? I mean, it's hard like answering very, very general questions. But I would say that, you know, you can use smears if it's just too fast and there's not a lot of frames. You could use favoring. Okay, so, you know, let's have this character sort of like asymmetrical, right? I'm gonna have this character sort of like, this is my new one, and I'm using the drawing below to my initial animation to as reference. And then, yeah, the reason why I'm just choosing a very basic character design, it's just so much easier for me to talk about it and to talk while I'm animating. Yeah, so this character is sort of twisting. Actually, you know what? I need to draw my twist poses just a bit better. I realized this character, I forgot to add a tail, so I'm going to add it here. All right. Oops. Okay. Maybe I'll clean this character up in the future, but for now, I'm just going to do a very rough animation. Okay, so this character's sort of twisting on the up pose, and as it goes down, maybe it starts to I'm gonna exaggerate it. And maybe have the character sort of really bent down. Arms are, you know, coming towards us, and then this arm is going to start coming in from behind. Okay. So notice how, again, the animation that I did earlier, I'm using it as a placeholder. Meaning that, yeah, like now I know what the character looks like up and down. Also, I forgot to thank someone donated earlier. Mamu Wooly. Thank you so much for the donation. Really means a lot. You know, I'm doing these streams for free, but it really, really means a lot when you donate that. So thank you so much. And I'm glad that people like what I have to say. Okay. And okay, so and then I'm gonna have it come back up to, let's say, a different pose. Boom. See, I'm doing This is 13 now. This is 7. You can just circle them because now I'm just gonna make them keys. Okay, now this character's standing up. And then maybe I'll have the character sort of tilt its head. Her head. You know, the great thing about like gesture drawing is that like a lot of the poses that I can draw right now comes to me naturally. Like I'm not even using reference. I'm just like using whatever I learned from gesture drawing to sort of like come up with. Like I'm thinking about angles, hips tilting. I'm thinking about the twist in the body and things like that. And sometimes like drawing lines like this, like cross section lines or guidelines, really helps like kind of figure out, okay, where is this character facing? You know. And then I'm going to make another down pose. And I'm going to do a very cool, like, sort of dynamic pose where she... maybe this character, like, pops its arms up like this. And I'm going to, you know, just move it down a bit more so I'm really exaggerating that down pose. Keeping that foot placement sort of consistent. And I'm going to answer questions, but I want to just have fun with this for now. But yeah, this is frame 19. But I have my initial animation set on loop right now. I noticed that it's all evenly 6, 6, 6, which is fine. I'm going to keep it that way because I know it's going to slow in and slow down anyways. And then this is going to be 25. I could like, you know, keep going on like this on and on and on. I'm going to have the hands pop down, but there we go. And then maybe just have her again. Just I'm being very interpretive here. I'm not really like thinking too hard about the poses. I'm kind of just having fun here. So I like to, when it comes to drawing poses, I like to just draw the head, the torso, and the legs first, and then the hands come in later. So if we, actually, I'm not going to plate yet. And then one more down pose. Again, the reason why I also did the initial animation was so that I can keep track of my volumes with that. Like, use that as sort of a guide. That's what I mean by, like, making the placeholder. Okay, so I'm going to see some questions that I see. How important is depth in animation? Pretty important if you want to do things with depth. Wait, I answered some of these questions already. What's the most amount of frames you've done within a second? I mean, I don't think I've gone beyond. I think I've done 30, but I don't think I've gone beyond that. 30 frames per second, I mean. Just a question. When is it appropriate to put animation on threes? It really depends on the style of the animation that you're going for. You know, a lot of anime uses it, and I think it's great if you know how to like use it effectively. Like really, when I use threes, that's when I really think about spacing and all that. I like to favor things more. Okay. And then I'm going to have the character dip down. And then just, boom. Maybe shuffle it. No, okay. I actually hate that pose. I'm gonna redo it. I'm sorry. I'm being picky. I'm being picky on this. I'm gonna have the body maybe twist a bit. And the foot. Twist it some more, and then maybe the okay. Oh yes, I am using TV Paint as my software. Sorry, I did not answer that question earlier. But yeah, TV Paint is usually my choice because just because it's easy for me to get into compared to other programs. But I guess it's also because I used TV Paint a lot learning animation, so maybe that's kind of why I have a bias with it. Okay, let me see some other questions. I understand if you can't answer, but do you believe the animation, Doji Boy, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Hey, Taniko, big fan. Any advice for someone who didn't go to art school on how to get into the animation industry noticed by professionals? So a lot of people who don't go to like expensive animation schools usually do workshop style classes like CDA or CGMA just because there's current professionals teaching those classes. And a lot of my friends who or coworkers actually came from like those classes, not necessarily from like school. So I think, and also like networking places like CTN or Lightbox. As much as like I'm an introvert, so like networking doesn't come natural to me. I don't like thinking about it, but I think it is an important school. Okay, nerd guys. I understand if you can't answer, but do you believe animation industry is accommodating for those with learning disabilities if they try their hardest? So I'm not disabled, and to be honest, I wish I knew more people who were disabled. But actually, I can think of someone who might answer that question better, and I would recommend. Here, let me type her name, Mary Lum, because she is really she's an advocate for fighting disability rights. So I think she is someone that you might want to ask this question. I can't answer it because I'm not probably the best person for that, but maybe she is. And yes, it is Puka. Okay, so is there a golden? So someone asked, is there a golden rule you learned in animation school? Um, the thing I liked about my experience at a school like, let's say Cal Arts, was that even though like people love to riff on it for like having the Cal Art style, which is a term that was like spread by John K. Falusi. No, John K. who turned out to be, we know what happened to that guy. So every time I think of someone splurting out the Cal Art style, I think of that guy. But the thing I liked about that school is that they were pretty. They gave a lot of different advice to everyone depending on what their goals were. So I think to me the golden rule that I learned from there is, the studios don't really don't really care about you. And the thing that matters the most is being honest with your work. So, like, instead of like trying to appease to a studio or be good, try and make things that feel the most honest to you. Um, and that's how you'll probably stand out better, or that, and also continue to love the work that you do. But I know it's vague. That's the only thing I can think of very right on the get go. Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna do maybe one or two more poses, but let's do one big up pose. But yeah, see, the thing is that I'm very scared of. I won't say I'm very scared, but like I'm very careful with the way I answer these questions because it's so easy to get emotions and opinions distorting the truth and stuff like that. So when I answer, I try to be the most diplomatic or the most like, hey, this sort of makes sense to everyone, because what was Buster? Because like if I just put in my emotions to things like answering questions, like the thing about like the disability question is it's not a world I'm super familiar with, but I do know someone who might have a better understanding of that side. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna see some questions while I do this. So, because I think I'm gonna probably do one more pose after this one, and then I'm gonna probably loop it back to my initial drawing. Okay, and then one more down pose, and it's gonna go back to the first drawing. So I'm gonna make this loop, and we're gonna play it, and then we're gonna make breakdowns after I set these keys down. Okay. This is 43. Gonna have a twist. Again, using my previous drawing as shit, let's have the character cross-legged or knees going in. Okay, no, this is just funny. It's just so funny because like it is based off my cat. She's dunking through the door. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna probably play this right now just to see how it feels. Actually, let me turn off in my placeholders just so that we can see those poses. So I think from here, I think this is what my loop is gonna look like, honestly. And then from here, what I can do is make breakdown poses like I did with the placeholder. Okay, so I'm gonna answer some questions right now. Not necessarily animation related, but I just don't know how to design characters. Every time I try to design one, they turn out terrible, even with references and ideas. How do I get started? That is tricky because I mean, I would say yeah, with references and ideas, but I think the thing is that maybe I think what you should probably try and do more is just instead of like designing characters right now, there's several ways you can do things, which is just you draw existing characters and understand why those designs are appealing. That's a practice that you can do to sort of like understand shape language of existing characters, and then you could think about your characters as very basic shapes. But I like to, you know, to just study and draw existing characters and learn how to make new poses or new drawings based off those designs. To me, that's what figure invention is. Am I going to LBX this year? Yeah, I'm actually giving a panel, but I might actually do two panels. I don't know yet. That's something I have to talk with Bobby Chu about. Okay, so Aho Takoyaki. Hello, I'm wondering if there is a simple method to iron out your short film story so it's not bloated. I like to. I mean, no, I totally get your question because like all my films, they were way more complicated than they needed to be at first. But then I think I started eliminating things. So something that used to have like 6 characters dumbed down to 2 characters, and I just tried making like characters an idea, just focusing on, let's say, that one set with that one character, and see, you have to give yourself limitations on these so you have more to play around. Okay, I'm gonna go back to making the breakdowns. So now I'm going to make breakdowns. Cool beans. All right, let's do this. So it's good to me. Maybe I'm gonna do multiple approaches, but I'm just gonna do like pose to pose or like breakdown. So from 5 to 7, I can turn off the onion skin here or turn it on depending. But let's turn it off for just to show you that I like to flip. And then I'm gonna have this hand wave like that. There we go. Just so it has a bit more depth. So between flipping and using the onion skin, it really, to me, it just depends on like where I am with the animation stage. Like if it's like for breakdowns and key poses, I flip a lot. If it's for like really tight in betweens, then I would probably use the onion skin. But it they kind of like work in tandem. Okay, so notice how like the back arm, so this arm here, you don't really see it until like this drawing. Okay. Actually, the eyes need to be closer to the snout. Okay, so that's notice how I keep like erasing stuff and redrawing it just because like I start to feel things out a bit. Like the eye doesn't make sense to me. But you know what? Screw it. It's rough. Okay, 5. It's because it's slowing out. Sorry, I should have made a chart just to show how I'm thinking. So 7 to 13. 9 was going to be here, and it's going to slow into 13. So 11. Actually, 11 will look more like this. There we go. It's favoring 13. Okay. And then just have it. Actually, maybe this hand needs to come out already, and then just have it like Okay, so I'm actually thinking of an arc here. Maybe. Actually, I don't like that. That's stupid. I'm gonna actually make it swing. There we go. Just so that it connects with the previous action. The whiskers are gonna whip down just because of gravity. And then this leg is actually still in contact with the ground. Actually, I'm gonna... Yeah, that's... So if I flip between these drawings, yes. Maybe the ears are gonna have a slight... Oh, she's here. My cat is gonna jump on my lap. Hey, you. I'm animating you right now. I'll play with you soon. Okay. No, I'm not using reference. Okay, so... Yeah, no, honestly, like, the flip method to me, it actually helped me a lot during my early animation stages because I had a habit of just tracing with onion skin and not really, like, thinking too much about how everything relates to each other. Okay, so... Do I love animating? You know what? I like to change things up. There are times where I love animating, and then there are times where I just go like, you know what? Screw animation. I'm gonna do a comic, or I'm gonna storyboard. I'm gonna do something else that's not like animating, because it's so easy to sort of get tunnel visioned. Okay, so with this breakdown for 17, so I'm gonna quickly do a chart just to show you how I'm thinking, is that I'm probably gonna have the snout sort of come up. You know, just really feeling out the arc. But yeah, like when I was learning animation, for me, like I think just flipping just helped me get a better sense of feeling out the movement rather than having to rely on the play button. So she swings, and then I'm thinking probably goes back like that. Actually, but yeah, like I'm thinking of keeping the feet in constant sort of, you know, tracking the feet. Okay, so Andrew Sharp, do you think there will be an animation community like Project City? Okay, so oh shit, sorry, my cat just jumped on the keyboard. Oh my god. There we go. Holy crap. Yo, hold on, get down. Sorry guys. Okay. Do you think there will be an animation community like Project City? I mean, there's a lot of animation communities, but the thing with like, it's crazy because for me, like, I can only hang out with so many different people. And you know, there's only a few people that I do hang out with that are also involved in animation, but yeah, I mean, the thing with Project City is that things feel a bit exclusive. So what I'm trying to say is that like for now it's a pretty niche area, and I think like it's to me like it's not really public enough unless like maybe you're paying for like the story sprint. Again, I haven't really been updated with Project City in a while. I know Rad Seacrest is active in it. I know Ethan Becker is active on it. I know Chase Conley is. But at the meantime, I don't really know what they're up to be honest. In terms of community, I mean, yeah, like I think the thing with animation communities is that like they're all sort of like there's a lot of different ones, but they're all kind of segregated. Because like I know communities that just focus on like sakuga or anime animation, and then communities that focus on like general animation. Okay. And then now I'm gonna do frame 21 as my knee breakdown. So 21, 21. There we go. And then 25. And then 23. I might want to favorite that eventually. But for now, just breakdowns right now. Let me save this. By the way, thanks so much for the questions, and thanks so much for like supporting the channel. You guys kick ass. Gonna have the character's head dip down. It's just because it adds a bit of weight. Oh, so yeah, someone asked, "What's Project City?" It's a platform where people can either showcase their projects or learn a few animation classes. I think right now it is focused on storyboards from what I know. Or no, yeah. Again, I don't want to spread misinformation. All I know is that this is what I think it is, but again, I don't know. No, I don't really know Ben Eben, but I'll look him up soon. Okay, so sorry, questions. You don't use onion skin? I do, but when it comes to like big movements, I like to flip because it helps me feel the motion. I only use like onion skin when it's like really tight in betweens, or if I don't want to think too hard about the drawing. What platform do you think is the best for communities? Discord, Instagram, or Facebook? Probably Discord, to be honest, because more people are using it. Okay, few more breakdowns, and then we can maybe just save it. I'll debate if I want to in between it or not. But it's nearly an hour, so look, we actually got a lot done within an hour. Crazy. No, it's already been an hour and 3 minutes, but we got a lot. I think I got a lot done, 25 to 31, 25 to 31. Okay, so it's a slow out, meaning it's going to gain speed. 25 to 31. So 29 is going to be around here, 27 is going to be around here, but we're only doing 29. So let's make a frame for 20, empty drawing for 29, and do that. I'm gonna have the head just pop up a bit, just to really give it like. Yeah, I tend to work fast. I get pretty impatient when it comes to animation, even though I guess that's kind of why like a lot of my animation work ends up looking very loose and sloppy. But I guess that's also because I know my goals. Like I can do solid animation, but I just don't like doing it just because it's so time consuming. So if you actually look at my work, I tend to favor really loose, wobbly drawings, and I kind of like the feel of it. But that's not to say I don't care about solid drawings. It's just that like when I tend to prioritize things, I like to try and get things done, and I just want to express things. And with solid drawing, all you're really saying is this is a nice solid drawing. But when I'm like thinking about animation as a whole project, I'm actually thinking about the story or the colors or everything. I try, so it's like I can only like prioritize so much. So yeah, okay. Do you recommend some animation programs? So someone asked, how do you know what pose you're gonna draw when you use pose to pose? So for me, I like to break it down like I did earlier. Like I did an up and down pose first, and then I would do breakdowns in between. But I guess it really depends on like the storytelling aspects of those drawings. Cool, we're nearly done, guys, with the breakdown stage at least. Okay, 29, 31 to 37. And I'm gonna get into the habit of like just drawing my timing chart just because, or my spacing chart, sorry. Just because I think it's good to show like how I think. Can have that hand whip out and drag. Her hand's getting too big. Initially I was going to animate this straight ahead, but the thing is that like it's so hard to sort of explain straight ahead or teach it. It's just like watch me animate, and I'm just gonna use my overall experience and knowledge when I animate straight ahead. But when I do like pose to pose, I can actually talk about why I'm making a certain pose or why I'm thinking. So for this breakdown, for example, from 31 to 37, I know that the end result is the cat coming up, but my next drawing is on 33, and I want to create a nice whiplash motion, just to have like, yeah. But then I have to make sure her other hand doesn't get lost. It's just like things like, I'm just like thinking about things like that. Okay, okay. Let me see. So, I mean, there's just too many animation films I can talk about that inspired me. So, I guess it depends on the mood of like what I feel like talking about. Right now, I just don't feel like talking about animation or other animation works. Just gonna animate what I know. It's 11 p.m. Yes, I do listen to music when I animate. Right now, I'm not, just because I want to hear my own voice when I talk to you guys. Okay, her cheeks are getting lost. The volume of her cheeks are getting lost. Okay, how long does it take for someone to become a decent animator? I don't know, but I've seen people like, I think generally people get the hang of it within like a year and a half or 2 years. I think like, so just based on like my experiences from like school and a lot of people's experience, like 1 year is like, I think that's when you kind of figure out like how the fundamentals and the basics and how to make it work if you're consistent. And then like by the second or third year of like learning it, or maybe the second year, it's like you start experimenting with what you can do with the medium after you sort of like played around with the basic principles. And I think that's when you really figure out like what your own voice with animation is, when you start doing other stuff outside of just mere assignments. Okay. All right. Two more drawings actually. Then I think I'm gonna just either debate if I want it in between it or not. Okay, from 37 to 43. 37 to 43. So 41. Sorry, whoops. 41. That's my breakdown. Nope. All right. Let me see some other questions. What is the longest you went without sleep doing animation? A friend did not sleep for 3 days. I would say I didn't. Maybe like 2 days for me if I didn't get any sleep. But honestly, I don't recommend it unless like you know that you will wrap up that project. But I've pulled off all nighters. I did. It's I mean it's an experience, but it's like this. It shouldn't be a normal practice. Yeah, it's kind of tricky because it's like being an animator myself and being creative and partaking like 48-hour films and student films or short films. Like people say like, oh, the crunch time is terrible. I mean, the thing is that like sometimes like there is a sense of like joy to it. I don't think it should be like a norm thing. But when people just say like, oh, don't ever do crunch time, don't ever do all nighters. It's tricky because like, what if you're really enjoying the thing that you're doing, right? Then it's kind of like complicated. But again, yeah, take care of your health. Okay. Okay, one more. I think I'm gonna do one more. Honestly, I'm more productive at night just because I don't really have much things to do during the day. And then I'm gonna do one more. Back to the first sleep. Yes. Actually, I'm gonna change. Sorry, I'm just readjusting my first drawing just so that it looks a bit more appealing. I'm gonna have it like dip down just a bit more. And this hand's gonna go behind. Oh, one of the craziest things that I learned from an animator at DreamWorks who used to work at Disney back in the 90s. one thing that he told me that was kind of an eye opener to me, or something that I like to implement a lot, is that when something goes one direction, there's something else that's going at the opposite direction. And when you think about it, it's it affects things like overlapping action, right? Or a character popping. Like if a character acts surprised, their head will pop up, but their shoulders will drop down, giving that nice elastic stretch. Or when something's rotating. So let's talk about like these two poses of a character kind of turning, and I'm using its paws as a hint of like that. So let's say the stage left paw is blue, right? So I'm gonna track that, and the stage right paw is pink. As you can see, they kind of like the pink paw is actually going towards or against the direction the blue paw. So it just gives a sense, it really sells that depth. It's not rocket science at all. It's really just like, oh, that's just like a little hint in case you just you forget, I'm gonna have her close her eyes. Okay, so I think I forgot to add the tail in some of my previous drawings, so I'm just gonna quickly add that. Okay, now let's loop it. All right, you guys ready to watch this? What I have so far? And I'm still debating if I want to in between some more, but let's play what we have. And from here, while it's playing, I'm going to answer some questions, and I'll debate if I need to continue. It's already 11:12, but let's play it. There, I mean, we kind of have a sort of loop of our dance, and if we just in between it some more, we're probably going to make the animation a lot more smooth. And from here, like if I decided to clean it up, I could just use this and just use in betweening for some of those in betweens. Like I could just clean it up from here. But if I just want to keep it rough like this, then I might just add a few more drawings to really, really make it smooth. So maybe I'll do like 2 or 4 in betweens, because there are some specific charts that I made to sort of to sell some of the motion. So I did some favoring, and I want to talk about how I did that. All right. So now I'm gonna do my in betweens in blue, just so it's easier to see. And then something like this is where I turn on my onion skin. It's like, okay, I've already figured out the big motions that are pretty important to me. Now maybe I can start adding like the inner intricacies. But yeah, I just wanted to really. I thought about doing it straight ahead, but it's like, well, I think it's better if I do it pose to pose, just so that I can talk about charts, and the charts really shows like how I'm actually thinking about my animation. Okay, so Jojo Draw Art, do you use time? So this is a question. Do you always use a timing chart? Because even after reading on it, I'm kind of lost with the actual meaning of the lines and numbers. Great animation. So the thing with charts, it's like as much as I could talk about charts and like, hey, this is how you use charts. The thing is that you won't fully understand charts until you force yourself to use it. I can't just say, "Hey, this is how the chart works." It's more like, no, you have to actually like implement it in your own work to actually understand it. And to better understand it, you have to understand the concept of like spacing, right? And I think charts is important to know if you want to, like, let's say, do animation work. Let's say for anime, for example, right? Even in anime, you have to indicate the charts. Now, do I normally use charts? Yes and no. I mean, sometimes I have an instinct of like, okay, I know this is gonna be a slow win, and I'm not gonna like think too hard about it. Okay, so this is the thing I want to talk about. So I just did a quick in between for 3, but then for 11, as you can see in my chart, I'm actually favoring frame 13 down here. So if you look at my cursor right now, when I make drawing 11, so this is frame 11. No, that's frame 9. Sorry, this is frame 9. For frame 11, and if I turn on my onion skin, I'm going to favor the drawing in the onion skin in pink. That's my next drawing. So notice how like instead of like drawing my in between evenly or down here, I'm actually going to make it favor the pink, just so that we can read this drawing. Because animation is constantly moving, we want to have like some favoring just so that we can feel or read a few poses. So I'm just gonna have that bit loop, all right? So yeah, you can see that like there's a bit where things tend to slow down a bit clearer on the last drawing. Okay, I'm gonna do the rest. So this is 15. And it's gonna be a normal in between. Normal in between, or this isn't really a breakdown anymore. I'm just in betweening what I see. And sometimes like I just do it very loose, like a partial, because I know that like when I do partials, it's like I'm not spending too much time drawing. The stream will be available for a while, but I'm gonna put it unlisted after like a few days. I was supposed to do that with the effects lecture that I did, but the thing was that that got copyright striked, and I couldn't do anything about it. $23. Okay. 23 is favoring 25, so I'm going to do that again. See? I'm going to focus on making my drawing favor the onion skin in pink. Yeah, I'm just going to do these in-betweens like super quick. And that's the great thing about having a super simple character design. It's like, oh shit, that's super simple. Actually, I want to get the color just a bit more overlap. So with overlap, I will revisit those drawings and just adjust it. Yeah, let's have that section play. All right, I'm gonna answer some questions. Well, I have an idea for animated concept trailer of a fantasy-like story, but I am so confused. What is better, to animate a proper short film or an animated trailer? That's a good question. I guess it depends on your goal. If you just want to improve on your animation skills and show off, probably a trailer. But I think, I don't know, maybe I would say do like a little scenario. So not necessarily like a film that has like a full story or a short story. More like these are characters interacting and it's a scene. Like a scene that's caught in the middle of like a movie. Like imagine like we're watching, you're switching through channels. You switch the channel, it's in the middle of something, and then you change the channel. So yeah, that's kind of like how I would summarize it. Okay, and I'm just gonna just do a casual in between for this one. I think I can finish it up honestly. So let's gun through it. It's only 11:20. Maybe I'll wrap up by midnight or earlier. Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Yeah, 3 more drawings. I got this, guys. I got this. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel, guys. It means a lot. I know that I've experienced a dip in, audience and a dip in my content, but you know what? That's okay, cause like the thing is that I have to remind myself that the reason why I do YouTube is it's more of a reflection side to it. Like it's crazy. I never saw I still don't see myself as like a YouTuber or someone as big as like my other friends who do YouTube who are relatively huge in that department. And the thing is that like when I think about it, I'm honestly happy with what I have because the people who do watch my stuff and appreciate it, they're the type of people I want to be around with, like the ones who talk to me are like actual other professionals. Sometimes I'll get like students here and there, but I think it's very cool to see like other people in the industry or in my profession say like, hey, I've had similar thoughts, and to me that means a lot. And I'm glad that like students and teachers like what I had to say. But at the same time, it's like, I want to make this what I have to say not always a learning platform because there's a lot of like resources where you can learn stuff, but I like to talk about the stuff that's just like let's be super super honest about like what we do. Let's actually talk about like what it is to be creative or what it is to be expressive, and what does it mean to like love the craft that you do, like stuff like that. That's the stuff that I love talking about. But when it comes to like this is how you animate, this is how you do a bouncing ball, to me I find that stuff really boring. Like I guess that's kind of why like I don't I like ever since like more art YouTubers started coming on the scene, I started sort of toning it down just because I didn't want to like. The thing is that like I'm still learning myself, and I don't like making videos about saying this is how you get a job or work in the industry. For me, it's more like this is what I know, this is how I did things, this is what worked, this is what didn't work. But here's me talking about it. So that's kind of what I like to do more, and of course talking about my process and being honest with my work, because I don't want to just be another like art YouTuber that talks about how to get better. Okay. All right, we're nearly. Oh, wait, no. 30. Yeah, 35 should be favoring. Fuck. There we go. The arms are favoring more. Yeah, there's a few projects I'm working on, but I don't think I'm ready to talk about it. Okay, one more in between, guys. We got this. I'm just going to quickly just do a partial. So partial is just like, I'm just going to trace the outlines. There we go. This is TV Paint. Okay, let's play this. There we go. We have This looks so stupid. We got a ragdoll or vinyl toy of a cat just like, dancing some moves here and there, all in between. It looks so dumb, but it's so lovable. You know what? Maybe I should have like it blink on one. Yeah, it does blink. It blinks here, but maybe it needs to blink again. Wait, let's have it blink here. Okay, let's see it. Okay, yeah, I think it. This is so dumb. Look, the tail has no idea what's going on. Let's kind of define where the tail is. Bow chicka bow bow. It's so dumb. It's how I would dance. I think that's kind of why I'm like laughing to it. It's kind of like this is something that I can see myself doing when I have nothing, no dance moves at all. I guess that's why I'm laughing to it. But I think the animation's okay. It's like smooth. It's hitting my key poses, and I think the thing I like about it is that I was able to talk about these poses. So let's do a quick review, right? Just because like it's a long thing. So we talked about finding the beats, and I guess we landed about like every 13 frames there's a beat. So I started out animating this thing, right? It's just our character just bobbing up and down, like nothing crazy, right? And then I used this character as a placeholder for my actual animation. So, placeholders are important to have just so that you can have something to reference to, right? Notice how like I exaggerated some of the ups and downs just so that it feels a bit more explosive, right? I feel like I know the face is losing a bit of volume here and there, like the eyes get further away from the snout and this head, right? I can always go back and like sort of adjust it. So that's not something I'm really worried about, but I probably should just fix it up a bit. Her little eyelashes. Okay. There's a fire started na 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 na. He could have had it all. Yeah, these are like songs I think about when I'm animating this dance. So yeah, cool. I think I can wrap it up here. But if there's any questions, let me know. I'd love to answer some of it. Like eventually, if I like clean it up or tie it down, I'm probably going to add a bit of jiggle physics to the cheeks, just because I can. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna save this and have it play while I probably answer some last questions. All right. Any questions? Any free animating software I'd recommend? I mean, OpenTunes. So OpenTunes is something that, like, when I first used it, when it first like became free in public, I hated it. I thought it sucked, but I tried using it again, and it's like, oh crap, I actually want to use this program. So I think OpenTunes is catching up again. So Grease Pencil is good if you want to like actually make stuff out of it. The thing is that it's, to me, like when it comes to like 2D animation, it's still a bit, complicated, or that you need to have all these different plugins to make it a legit 2D animation program. But by itself, I'd resort to something simpler like OpenTunes or maybe Krita, affordable ones. So there's Clip Studio, there's Rough Animator on the iPad. Toon Squid on the iPad is really good. And I guess Calipeg is another one, but I tried using it. It's not my cup of tea. but I would say affordable ones are good to look into because there's support for it. The best way to find a BPM of a song, I use this website called Beats Per Minute Online. You can just find like a Beats Per Minute finder online, and listen to your song and just click the button to the beat. And you'll probably get like an average of the clicks that you hit, right? So you could do something like that. Oh shit! I just realized I wasn't sharing here. Let me quickly cut to that. So yeah, this is the site that I used. Best Per Minute Online. Uh, da, 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 da. Like I'll just like get a rhythm and it'll figure out the average for that, and you can decide which one you want. Yeah. Okay, so how do you feel about holding demos and seminars at schools? Yeah, I'm down for it. I've done it multiple times. So the reason why I do these streams is because I've gotten so used to it. For anime, blah, 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 blah. Have you seen Procreate Dreams? Yes, I have seen Procreate Dreams. It looks great, but from what I'm starting to hear is that the animation assist is more of the same. So at the same time, like, okay, well, I'm not really a fan of the Procreate's animation assist, but maybe it's gotten a bit better for Dreams. I don't know, but if it's more of the same, then it's. I guess I'll use it as a compositing program. I don't know. Okay, for anime style, do you think Animate is a good? Wait, do you think Adobe Animate? I guess Adobe Animate. You know the thing. So based on my experiences of working in anime, they don't really mind too much about what program you use because everyone has used different programs. But if you want to know about the standard that a lot of animation productions use, it's Clip Studio. But a lot of people use Toon Boom, TV Paint. I'm one of the people that uses TV Paint, and some people use Adobe Animate. It's really just about preferences because at the end of the day, you're turning in image sequences in a format that they're going to use. So like a JPEG sequence or a PNG sequence. It's really all labeled correctly based on the layer or the level, like A, B, C, yeah, that kind of stuff. Okay, so next question. How do you balance a realistic workload with small facial movement changes? Like, if you really want to be emotive, how do you make sure it's expressive but also not too much? So this is something that I tend to suffer a lot just because like I'm in the mood of like over animating stuff, and you can see that issue with my Dusk Flight project. I just wanted to move the character all the time. But if it's what you're talking about, you want the scene to be emotive, have only like a few key drawings of that scene, like maybe 2 or 3 drawings that really sell the drawings. And when you like start making drawings in between those key poses or key drawings, make it all relate to that. Any suggestion what I can do with TV Paint? I mean, I can do pretty much everything on Toon Boom while other things on CSP. I'm not sure what you mean by that question. Any suggestion? What I can? I mean, you can animate on it. You can animate on it. Yeah. You can do stuff with it. You can animate this dancing cat, like I did. I'm sorry. This is what happens when it's late at night. The thing. Okay, so people are asking me about OpenTunes. The thing is, I've only tried it once. No, I've tried it a few times. Once when it first came out, I'm like, this sucks. Now, like nowadays, I'm like, okay, there's some cool functionalities, but at the same time, I don't know, too much. How long would you recommend figured that? I mean, it's not really a big. So someone asks, Zenderman asks, how long would you recommend figure drawing sessions to be? It really, again, it depends. Like quick gesture drawings are great to get like loose and fast and get that energy out of the way. And then long ones, let's say you want to focus on like anatomy and lighting, you want to spend a lot of time on that to really, really absorb it. So yeah. Okay, I think that's probably going to wrap up the night. I think this is good. Thanks so much for like hanging out, I guess. I'm going to stop recording right now. So this is Dance Animations. So I'm stopping, recording. Sorry, Zengeti. Repeating my super chat from earlier. Can we get an archive for all the streams? A playlist of precious animation knowledge? I have a Patreon for that, but one of them got like blocked and deleted because of copyright infringement, or not infringement, but I used I got claimed, whatever. So I've actually been recording a lot of the stuff that I've streamed, so I'm probably going to distribute it as actual video files with the chat recorded too. All right, cool. Anyways, thank you guys so much. I'm gonna stop streaming in a few seconds. So thanks so much for hanging out, guys. You guys are cool. Thanks for some of the good questions, some of the cool questions, some of the funny questions. You guys are great. Thanks a bunch. Bye.